shall remain, whose freedom shall be earned, to fly this prison never to return. Never to
Okay, let's get back into this. Why? Following the successful outcome of the liberation rite, you find Bertrude muttering something to herself. You hear some of the words as you approach.
Should thou seekest darkness, then may nightfall come to thee in time. Should thou seekest courage, then may bravery soon bloom within thy heart. Shouldst thou seekest water, then may the oceans open wide for thee. Should thou seekest fortune, then hello, this is Fenris.
You recognize it as the Bog Benediction, though you have never heard it said aloud. Then Bertrude sees you there, cuts short the chant. How's your weekend going, Fenris? Welcome in.
Care thee to explain thy presence. Reading 1. We were amidst an invocation which must now begin anew. 'Tis for the wear night thou needst know to speed him on his homeward journey. The weir knights are a distant kin. Unlike their ilk, ours have been but passing interests in the sea. There within the deeps we have long seen that which is to be seen. Nevertheless, the distant kin is kin. That foolish weir knight, surely he could never have survived his years if not for divine aid. Thus we provide him more. Then perhaps the weir knight, easily underestimated as he is, perhaps he shall turn out to be of some small benefit as part of Sandalwood's design.
She glares at you intently for a moment.
Mistake thee not these actions for affection, nor for a longing for the loudness of this place to escalate ever again to volumes such only as this incessant shouting could achieve. Now leave us, reading 1. The invocation must be finished ere the weir knight finally arrives upon the shores beyond this land, before his homecoming.
She turns away from you and then begins her chant again. Hey, Fenris. Welcome in. How's your weekend going? How's your Sunday going?
Should thou seekest shelter, then may the elements be merciful to thee. Should thou seekest kinship, then may thy kin hold memory of thee. Should thou seekest darkness.
You leave her to the benediction. The weir knight's absence is already felt. You know, however, that he will strive with all his might on your behalf there, on the other side. Oh man, starting off with that voice in a playthrough, woo! That's a tough one on the old throaty throat. You have returned. How can I help you, if at all? What have you been up to, Fenris? You much this weekend? Was it a quiet, chilled one? At dawn, your companions are prepared to depart. Everyone is silent. Your travels are to take you back to the nest of Triesta, but soon after the stars shall draw you here again. In chilling playing Stardew Valley? Nice, that sounds cozy as fuck. The unmistakable remains of wait, that's the wrong voice. The unmistakable remains of Zilda's horse head, which protrude from the ash fire there below. Some have taken it to be a work of sculpture, reader. The tale of a titan felled by Saint Trieste Tith. That is more unbelievable than the thought that some daring exiles over many years carved the Titan's visage out of stone. Be that as it may, the climate and the cliffs are now home to the exiled heart, such as the Essen, whom you faced here when you first arrived. Even if they do not all know of the locale's sacred significance. Locations over value. You got a look. Thank you for the look. Appreciate your company. There you are again, my lovely reader. How may I be of service? Ooh, a scribe trial. Then who exactly do you have in mind? Ooh, Volfred already? My my. You ask Sandra to administer one of her special trials for Volfred. That fancy talking sap, you mean? Actually, you know what? Before people start trickling in, I'm gonna do a few bits and pieces myself. Set up some lurks. Then let us bring him forth.
And nice quiet, please. We are rolling.
So do you feel like you'll ever be able to buy a home?
Honestly, no.
What?
We're doing everything right. We're
Where's
saving.
this fucking audio coming from? No. No. Okay. Back to the game. That fancy talking sap, you mean? I shall be interested to see if he has learned something since we last sparred like this. Then bring him forth. Soon Volfred appears in heat of the sun. So my turn then, is it? Then let us see what we can do, my boy. The apparition Sandra appears and unfastens her mask. Listen well, Sap. You answer to me here. As you will, O Sandra the Unseeing. Proper as ever then, though I wonder if you have the wherewithal that you project. Show me then what you can do without the benefit of those whom you would of those whom you would lead, and let us see if you and your lovely reader have reached a thorough understanding as of yet. Got it. Cheat. Crap. Oh, I made a mistake. And I win. Victory is for me. And I shall drink some more rum. Flattery shall never get you anywhere with me, sap. Nonetheless, your performance was sufficient and you passed my test. Thus, congratulations are in order to you and to your lovely reader. Now farewell.
Serio comprare.
I had not seen that Sandra in some time. She has not changed a bit. But it would seem that she left something for us, did she? You received Lou's bow for completing Volfred's trial. Ooh. You and Bertrude make a quick search of the strange outcroppings of Black Shore. However, you find nothing of note.
Uneventful. Fine.
You soon return to the Black Wagon, where the others are preoccupied with their own pursuits. You should have time enough to pursue your vocations.
Very well, then. Educate us if thou canst.
You and Bertrude go over her understanding of her aura and its connection to her presence, both physical and spiritual. This discussion proves informative.
Such power emanates from within, which can be harnessed towards our goals.
infrantes.
Hey, Plain Toast No Jam, welcome in. Thank you for the follow.
Nemraj ligaratus.
How did you find me here on this big old Twitch platform? Where'd you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Tell me your secrets. Please, reader, leave me be. I have asked that you leave me be. Go about your business, go watch the stars die out, and get your idiots their freedom. And you be sure to tell that herald with whom you consort that Sandra the Unseeing did her job. You tell him that. Perhaps that way he shall put in a good word, and the scribes shall finally provide for me a bit of reprieve. She falls silent for a time. I do not know what else to do, reader. But you remain with her, letting her draw whatever strength and comfort from your thoughts as you are able to afford. That was kind of you. However, let us conduct our business. I care not for your pity. Do not come visit me again like this without my asking. I insist. Take care of yourself, reader.
Oh, hey guys. You know, it seems so awful quiet now. I gotta say, without that slippery little character what used to hang around with you, I mean... Talks like this a lot. Wait. Talks like this a lot. You know what I mean?
My mic blew right the fuck out then. Give me a second. I gotta adjust some audio levels here. Boop! Ah! There we go. No more overmodulation for this.
Oh, we found that honor thing he's always going on about. We don't got that in stock just now. Since I didn't say, I don't know how you keep any voice day to day, Rolf. I don't got no rifles in stock, but you're welcome in.
How's your day going, Cinderlin?
Pleasure was all mine and Dad's, you guys.
By now, having to make preparations for the rites has become second nature to your companions. They go about the process efficiently, and this time in almost total silence. You cannot shake the sense that the routine shall not go on much longer. Bertrude approaches and confirms to you that the Nightwing sigil is set. Everyone has their books and raiments, and the grounds are ready. Everything should be in order.
And the remaining stars shine brightly still. Not for much longer, it would seem. We have watched the splendor of the stars each night unfading since we were a tad. We shall savor the remaining opportunities.
You and Bertrude stand together in silence for a time, looking for the star above to show you some indication the rite is to commence. Your day's going better now that I'm here. Why, thank you. My day's going better now that you're here. It is taking too long. Concern begins to well up in you, but then...
Reader, it seems the stars once more have mustered wherewithal to usher in the rites. The sky grows dimmer by the day. An age is ending. Surely you must know by now that you shall never all be free. Yet still you struggle to fulfill some senseless plan. But I digress, of course. Some of us
Thanks for the
still
giant
honor the
emotes.
tradition.
Thanks for your
Some of
biddies.
us hold
You enjoy
dear
being
the
shown those biddies.
teachings of the scribes.
The pyres on each side are burning bright. From across the field, you observe the leader of the dissidents approach and remove his mask. Well, now it's time we went around and then. Wait, time we went another round then, is it, mate? Don't know how many more of these we got in us these days. So, how about we make this one a real kicker, eh? Come on then, Nightwings, do your worst. I want to see you try and do some proper damage here.
Go on, then. Bertrude. Jenna. Agatha. Wolfred. It is done.
The Nightwings have stood against the dissidents many times before, though this time it may be the last. Everyone, let us conduct this rite with glory. All right then, mates. You ready? You ready? Let's make those blasted stars up there go wet themselves after we're through here, eh?
Begin. Bertrude banished. Out. The orb, take it. The Nightwings assert themselves thusly.
Touchdown, Bertrude!
A banished.
Oh, shit.
Quite foul for the Nightwings.
Oh, the little bastard.
'Tis what the scribes ordained.
Oi, come on then, take this serious, will ya? We're just getting started.
Down goes that one. The orb is up. Ooh. Blast. Blessed be. The Nightwing shall prevail at this rate. Positively brutish. Such wherewithal.
He can't keep getting away with it! He can't keep getting away with it!
The right is
Oh, he can, and he will. Shit.
Take that, Parker. And it is done.
Victory!
The Nightwing.
Nightwings take the win.
Their adversaries must be rather shaken after that. The rite is done.
Ye dissidents, ye conducted here with such fury and such desperation that we must commend ye for it, despite the outcome which hath favored us.
I guess that's it. The dissidents, they won't have much of any chance getting out here anymore, will they? Well done, Nightwings. As for the dissidents, though they fought us fiercely many times, I doubt that it shall be enough. May they find mercy in this land. Can feel my blood still boiling after that. Would rather get snuffed that flame of yours, but hey, be seen around these parts. Come on, mates. Let's get out of here.
The rites do tend to teach something of trust. You may go now at your earliest convenience.
Inside the wagon, after overcoming the dissidents, Pamitha is discussing aspects of the outcome with the others when the lone minstrel seeks you out. Pardon the interruption, reader, though I need to ask a moment of your time while the night is still clear enough for you to see. Please, come have a look outside. Perhaps the news of your next destination may further stir the hearts of your companion. Among what stars yet remain shining in the night, one of them now burns as bright as ever you have seen. The path to freedom falls to you again. Back to Mount Isladel. Man, this story is like, it's so good, but it's so melancholy as well, because every time I win, I deny other people their freedom. The cycle turns even more quickly now, until such time as it shall shudder to a halt. He makes a sound then, almost like a laugh. I forget myself, reader. I should not say such things. The scribes, they would say that one out-focused on the path in front of him. When we set forth to walk along a long and labored path, it can be all too much if we stand back and look upon it as a whole. We may well decide to turn around. So basically, Fenris, these little dodgeball basketball games I play are the rites, and the rite that I'm about to conduct, the winner, one person on that team, is allowed to return back to the Commonwealth, where they will be exalted and raised in status, and freed from the downside, which is where we are, which is a miserable place full of monsters and shit food. This is basically Australia back in the day of the British Empire, but worse. Bad food, I know, right? As someone called Mealtime with Dad, you can obviously tell that bad food is a tremendous punishment to lay on anyone in my eyes. But if we begin to walk while casting down our gaze, and whilst resisting the urge to look too far ahead, then we may make steady, careful progress. Soon enough, we may arrive where we endeavor. The lone minstrel bids you a good evening. You had best retire for the night. When first daylight comes, it shall be time again to take to the sky. Man, Hades is going to have just as much fucking reading as this game. Not so many different voices, but So much reading.
Jare Agitensa.
What? Get off me. Your wagon reels from the impact of some sort of massive object slamming into it mid-flight. False Nightwing. Orlek calls down to all of you from atop his wagon. Again you seek to climb that cursed mountain beneath us. Again you seek to take my rightful place. I should send you crashing down to it, that you might fall as I have. He stares down at all of you. But I shall not. Rather, we shall meet upon the summit ere the last cycle of the rites is ended. Until then. You make landing on the sacred Mount Isladel after your encounter with Orlek. Orlek spoke truth. He has a right to gain the sun. When the time comes, Celeste shall deem him worthy, and shall let him pass. While he has transgressed against the rites, he has also already been anointed and prevailed. Nothing written in the book, and liberty ought to already be his. For the time, it seems that he has not yet traveled the summit. Perhaps he is still making preparations with his fellow exile. When exactly Orlek intends to make good on his promise, he did not make clear. For now, you are to confront Lendel and the accusers upon the summit. But first, you may prepare.
Are cognitaras.
Greetings to you, lovely reader. I am at your disposal.
Signor Francis.
Nothing there from Sandra. Later that afternoon, you accompany Pamitha, Jimothy, through the solemn beauty of Temple Cistern to the monument of Under King Ores. What'll you do when all of this is over, Pamitha? You're going to run away. Let's face it, you're probably not getting out of here. So then,
jail.
you go to Honey Jail Erotic. You're the one with erotic in your name. So then, you can either go live out your days under some rock somewhere, or maybe these who call you their friend, maybe they mean it. You return to the wagon after she's finished paying her respects. The summit awaits, but first, there is time to continue practicing your vocation. Thanks for the erotic, and yeah, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Hope your weekend's been good. I am playing Pyre and drinking rum and Dr. Pepper with a lot of rum in it. So let's see how long I can keep these voices going before I start to slur. Oh, this is good to hear. Yes, I am doing well. And then they go, ooh, rum night, huh? Yes, rum night. Zindon, were you here for my awesome pirate dad joke? I don't think erotic was. You gotta bounce. Thanks for sticking around, Fenris. Have a great night. Great rest of the weekend. The joke went, what did the pirate dad say to his son when he accidentally set the ship on fire?
Yar, son.
I don't have a sound effect. I need one. It's such a bad joke. Maker's Mantle said the word arson in chat and just immediately it popped into my head. You ask Volfred to explain to you in his own words the histories of the 8 scribes and speak to how their varied backgrounds form the basis not just of the rites but of the Commonwealth. Long did I bide my time in anticipation that one day the Nightwings would reform under a common cause, to be a part of it myself. It nourishes the spirit, Sindlin says. It is, but I love it. I love it too. It's so good and so simple. You know me by now, Sindlin. I love wordplay. I sometimes fear the spirit of the teachings of the scribes is already a long forgotten back where we come from. Hate to bring it to you, Volfred, but you might not make it out of here.
Instrusantis. Rijareberantas.
To the scribe's gate we go. Or not. Ooh, derpy imp. Deep in the narrow passageways of Mount Isladel, you find a messenger imp looking to bring you the latest news and rumors from the other side. This time around, the imp brings tidings of Sir Gilman and what happened to him since his liberation at the fall of Sodium, when at last his self-imposed exile came to an end. You learn that his return to the Commonwealth was met with much rejoicing, and that before long he was promoted to the rank of Veiled Captain on the Blood Border. And yet, with tears welling in his eye, he did refuse the post, stating that he no longer had the heart to fight against the Highwing remnants as he once did. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. He cast down his helmet, and when anyone saw him, he was among Volfred's agents, having joined the revolution to reshape the Commonwealth from within. Attaboy. You thank the messenger imp for the report and saluted saluted crisply as surely Gilman would have. Soon the news has everyone in the wagon talking. Tizo feels inspired by the news of Gilman's selfless actions. One of the Sea Dominion's own laying down his arms by his own choice. I'm honestly surprised, even having known him.
The tears he shed ought to have been bottled, and thus set aside for use in various salves.
Noble Gilman made the gallant choice, it seems. Our plan comes closer to fruition through his good example and support. The news of Gilman's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with newfound resolve. You are filled with determination. Your companions gained one hope for the next rite. You are returned once more to Scribe's Gate, where the Gate Guardian awaits under a dim sky.
Escutil noctalis.
The exiles of the Night Winds and you, Tariq. This is to be one of our final meetings. Greetings, Celeste. The Night Winds are prepared, and afterwards I would have words with you in private, if you please.
Simnaterus.
It seems to me rather late for words now, Tariq, but I shall hear them once your charges cross the gate. Now, all of you come forth. Please state your names and what it is you seek whilst crossing the Scribe's Gate. Once more your companions cross the gate one after another, and once more you follow them in turn. Celeste regards you all, then waves you through toward the summit.
Norgasum gratas.
The 8 scribes bid the Night Wings welcome. Go forth with glory and glory. Ah, Celeste,
Retira tempta.
you may rejoin the others in a while. For now, I would hear those words of yours. Certainly, Celeste. Everyone, I shall see you shortly.
The plains that sleep below, to the canyons open wide, hear the song of morning, the lost and lonesome bride, on the hill and in the land, where the weeping flowers hide.
Maritio cumpra. Igriata liberatus.
Lost and lonesome bride.
Oh, hey guys. It's gotten real cold up here. But it's worth it. Let me tell you. We got a lot of customers been stopping by. Okay, I may be exaggerating just a little since I've been reading here a little while. Yes, but hey, by anything.
Poppy Ficky Taste.
They're leaving, Dad. Just look at how much we got this time. The time has come again to deliver one of your fellow exiles to a homecoming in the Commonwealth, lest your adversaries, the accusers, achieve the same instead. The lone minstrel has returned and approaches as you await the signal from the stars. There is something I wish to ask you, reader. Something which ordinarily would not be my place to discuss in any detail. You have observed the star. If you would not mind my asking you in such a direct manner, how many liberation rats are you supposing yet remain? You tell him the only logical deduction which you have been able to make based on all your reading of the stars of late. There shall be one final liberation rite after tonight. I concur with your evaluation, reader, sir. I wish to make certain that you were aware, so that you and the Nightwings may yet make the most of your remaining time together thus. As to what shall happen once the final liberation rite is ended, we soon shall both find out. But lo, it seems that we are called upon once more. Look forth.
Reader, I would ask that you think back for just a moment, if you please. When you first looked upon the Book of Rites, think back upon the words that it revealed. Oblige the voice that tells you more. Oblige the voice that tells you more. Would that the scribes were here among us still. I will not sing your praises to them, rest assured. I trust that you shall savor this occasion. You shan't have to oblige me for much longer.
Volunta lorigas.
Mouthful of food, sorry about that. Act Girl. The pyres burn. Each of the triumvirate is present and fair.
Regita noxalis.
Then, anointed one of the accusers, come forth now and declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversary, the Nightwing. Poised as ever, Lendl steps forth and reaches for his mask. I was branded Lendl the Liar. Once I reclaim my liberty, that name shall be forgotten, and my rightful station in the Commonwealth shall be restored. Nightwings, you may have prevailed against me when last we met here upon this sacred site, but the many years since then have taught me much. I shall not fail again.
Consiltaram.
Yet, you still hold much resentment for your adversaries. Is that not so, Landale? Resentment is too kind a word for it. They are cheaters, one and all. Unfairly favored by those scribes, while those such as myself must struggle endlessly for such a chance. Now come, my accusers. Let us vanquish these undeserving oafs and prove now to the scribes that they were fools to favor the likes of them. He dons his mask once more. I am ready.
Noxalis.
Nightwings, your choice. In whose name shall you conduct this liberation rite? I wish you the wisdom of the scribes in making your choice, reader.
Ulta covarantas.
And I wish you to come prepare our song with me to read.
Whom shall you attempt to send home this time?
Alright. Here's my choice. We're sending Pamitha home today, all for this one. And the last one, we're gonna send Tizo to the Commonwealth. So I'm to get my shot at all this then? How very thoughtful of you, reader, darling. Hey, Maker's Mantle.
Stand with her. Tizo.
Shit, I didn't want to pick Tizo.
Bertrude.
For that one and for thee, reading one, we shall do this.
Very well.
Come then, Nightwings, and look upon me one last time, for by dawn I shall be free, while you all wallow in the terrible defeat we have in store for you.
Commence.
You imp! He singles out Tizo from across the sacred grounds. The indignity which you have wrought upon me all these long years, tonight it shall be washed away, as I at last return unto my posts. Long had I toiled in this abominable place, only for you, pathetic wretch that you are, you of all things, to thwart me and my accusers in our moment of triumph. It was small consolation knowing that the Nightwings fell apart soon after, a misfortune which you doubtless wrought yourself. As for we have clawed our way back to this mountaintop, you sniveling and loathsome little beast. And this time, things are going to transpire in a very different manner. Just you watch! But Tizo just stares right back at him, betraying no emotion. But then he claws at his mask. Certain imp expressions resist translation. Suffice it, Tizo does not hold Lendl in high esteem. It seems that Tizo does not hold Lendl's mother in high esteem either. Fuck yeah, Tizo. Then he dons his mask once more. Why, you! How dare you raise your weakling voice at me, you blasted Nightwings! Would that we could all go free, that I might have you all arrested and then sentenced once again! Now get out of my way! Fuck. They got me! No. Fuck. I fucked up.
Such fervor. But how?
Ah. This.
Tizo
Donk.
takes the plunge.
Good job, Tizo. Now, accusers, grant me your auras and your anger, that we may finally secure our rightful victory against these demons with whom we face. He is channeling the auras of his triumvirate, and their strength combines with his. This must be the aura game. What?
That
Cheating
Lendo yearns
motherfucker.
to regain his status in the Commonwealth. Would you deny him that? Lendo banished. Oh, why? Shall we banishment? Patience, reader.
What are these long respawn timers? What the fuck? Get out of here, accusers. Die. Die.
Spectacular. A shameful outcome. Too bad
No.
for that one.
What?
A banishment. Wherever did the Nightwings go?
Long respawn timers suck.
Disaster.
God damn, they do so much damage. Oh, you little bastards. Oh, that was close. Jesus. Oh, you bastards! Come on! Oh shit! No, I'm gonna lose now. Maybe. Okay, maybe not. Victory! There it is.
The blasted Nightwings proved their worth. Of their adversaries, the same cannot be said.
That was a tough old match.
Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus, the scribes have chosen the exile appointed by the Nightwings shall be free. Absolved of all
Choke on those
misdeeds.
words. Stupid voice.
Return to glory in the Commonwealth. Her adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful
sentences. Blast you, Nightwings! Again you cheated me! Have you no pride at all in this tradition? So, what am I supposed to... What? Am I supposed to give a speech or something then? Reader darling, all of you, look. I have no idea why you picked me. Well, I do have one but I don't think it's right. If you'd wanted to get rid of me by now, you wouldn't need to have gone to such lengths. And so I'm only left to conclude that you did this for me. The years I spent down here, in one sense, they've all been such a waste. Just utterly for nothing, spectacularly so. I thought that my relationship with Tamitha had nowhere left to go but up. But, well, you know, not quite the case. But then, I think on what would have become of me had I made no attempt to set things right. Had I not done everything I have, I could not have lived with that, I think. I was so certain that my life would end down here. I'm only now beginning to consider that the opposite may have come true instead. What I'm trying to say is, thanks to all of you. I mean that. Now I guess I'd better head back onto that damn Commonwealth, so bottoms up. She plunges into the waters of the Shimmer Pool and disappears from view. Though her voice still rings out. We'll have to see what we can do up there, provided that my sisters haven't had their way with it just yet. Anyway, let's find a way to keep in touch. But just in case, goodbye.
Godspeed, Tamitha Thane. The cycle of the rites is nearly at an end.
Long have we sought to fathom all the darkest secrets hidden by the light of the star. Now, at last, the stars themselves revoke their station in the night, and we finally have achieved an inkling of this.
More speed, more fast, more slither. More rum. You return to the wagon after having prevailed against the accusers in the liberation rite. Kizo wishes Tamitha a safe journey home.
Would that we make good of all such incidents.
You succeeded in liberating Tamitha, who returned to the Commonwealth in glory. Well, welcome back from ads, everyone. If you don't like ads, consider throwing me a subscription. I appreciate it. The last light of the star still shines for us above. At this point, what is to become of our plan needn't be the subject of our speculation. I trust that we'll learn the outcome soon enough. Our actions to this point shall pave the way, perhaps our faith as well. So for now, let us focus on this. We stand upon the brink of the last turn of the cycle of the right. Soon, we'll have a final chance to get one of you home. Now, reader. Up for a little stargazing? Let us see where in the downside we shall be returning these final rites. You turn back toward the darkness to look upon the last few stars too stubborn to relinquish their light. Okay. Anyone alive and lurking in chat? I turn this choice to you if you are. Who would you like to hear me voice in the last rites? Would you like to hear me voice Witch Udmildi?
Which would Mildy?
Would you like to hear me voice Tamitha? Or would you like to hear me voice
Ignorious. The angry demon man.
Which voice would you like to hear? Choose your fate.
Ignorious. We're gonna go visit Jormu the Dusk Star is what Maker's Manor wants to do.
Cinderlin, what about you?
Cinderlin also wants the growly demon. The choice is made.
Once more, you are faced the temple. Although I wonder. He hesitates before saying anything further. You cannot sense his thoughts. I apologize. I was lost in thought there for a moment. Let us make way for the spring of Jomur, when everyone is feeling more fresh, as much as possible. Following Pamitha's liberation, the lone minstrel has returned to the wagon and stands as though nothing has happened here this night. He tilts his head a bit as you approach. Once more the Nightwings have prevailed in the liberation rite under your mindfulness, reader. A commendable achievement. Surely Pamitha shall live out her days in gratitude to you and your companion. Perhaps perhaps she may now seek Ruki there in your commonwealth. I should think Ruki would have liked to witness what took place tonight. I trust that together they shall make a formidable difference to the plan, which all of you endeavor to achieve. Now, for the time, Celeste and I are to return to our respective stations. We all await the next turn of the cycle of the rite. May you prevail once more when we next traverse the scribe cave. Until then, rest well under the stars. He nods and leaves you to recover for a long night. You called for me, lovely reader? Still nothing on her mind. Okay. Fine then, don't talk to me, crystal ball lady. It is daybreak. You are to set forth now for the spring of Joma, for it appears to be the final time. Thereafter you shall return here for one last exile's final chance at liberty.
What was that?
You overhear Sir Deluge in a full-on panic as his fellow Worm Knights attempt to calm him down.
What do you mean it was the Nightwing? We are not to place them in our current right, are we?
At some point, he realizes your wagon is aloft beside his own.
You Nightwings! This night shall not forgive you this transgression. Once we prevail against whichever adversaries are doomed to face us next, then we shall come for you. Go. Oh, why must this night be forced to fly so far above the land and sea?
Down and down, down we go. The spring of Jomor has always blown forth fresh darkness by a man place. A legend whose demise is a rather sordid tale. Perhaps you have already read it in the book. Not all believe the book exists, nor the great Titan, nor the Pyre. I have encountered exiles believing that this Titan planned an accident rather than cunning trap laid by Jomer's mini-me. They took the Titan for a common beast. Perhaps the stars shine down upon out-of-the-way locales like this one to ensure that they alone shall witness the proceeding.
Okay.
Anything else to say, ball lady?
Reciprocus.
You meet up with Tizo, who suggested you go ranging with him through Fall.
Kraru?
Tizo wants to join you for a walk. Together you set out to explore the stark badlands around the Black Wagon. You find little to speak of other than the desolation typical of the downside. Scree-hoo. Tizo seems ready for a nap and wants to head back to the wagon. You and Tizo make your way back to the wagon. Though uneventful, your search helped ease the burden weighing on you and leaves you with time to pursue your vocation. You and Volfred review what observations you have made thus far about the various triumvirates you have confronted on your journey. He has keen insights about some of them. Either we stand between each other's paths to freedom, or help each other on our way. I try always to bear this too in mind. You observe Tizo rummaging about the Black Wagon, though in search of something. He notices you there and rushes up to greet you. Tizo is glad that you are here, and was just reminiscing about old times. But just as quickly, he resumes his search. Tizo is looking for something a former exile of the Night once gave him. He is growing frustrated that the object he seeks is nowhere to be found. You almost do not notice the lone minstrel's approach. I am afraid that it is gone, Tizo. I am very sorry. Reader, it is nothing that ought to be cause for much concern. Merely that Tizo has misplaced something of sentimental value to him. It was just a spare bandage, he indicates, exactly like the one on his horn. Tizo here has had many adventures with the Nightwing. Is that not so, Tizo? He squawks in approval. Those memories shall always stay with you. Is that not what matters most of all? He confirms this as well. Then, please do not worry yourself about it anymore. It is a symbol of a distant past. Besides, Tizo skulks away up into the rafters. The lone minstrel watches him go. The object that he seeks does not exist, reader. Tizo searches for it from a fleeting memory of his days with the Nighthawks in the past. He performed the regular duties of other drive-ins at first, but soon distinguished himself. I was none too surprised. He was clearly special. He had grown close with the other members of the Nightwing when misfortune fell and the triumvirate fell apart. Perhaps Volfred has revealed to you more of the data. As for Tizo, I feel he must make peace with the shadows of his past someday. Perhaps then he shall cease searching. You need not worry for him, of course. He is resilient and shall always serve the Nightwings well. You might say that he was born. Begging your pardon, reader. The lone minstrel excuses himself in his polite way, leaving you to consider what he said. Better drink some more rum to get my demon voice on. Ooh, new pages up here as well. Okay then. I oft times think the carapace of the Hive Titan Biolanthius shall be an everlasting blemish on an almost splendid bit of land, but Joma in his brashness felled the monster with a certain flair. Then the moon shone through the ridges of the massive carapace and shined upon the pooling ichor, turning it into the freshest nectar ever to be tasted. The spring shall flow eternally, and those who walk within it shall experience the resplendent glory of the land. The stars began to fall there in the spring with regularity, and we know now how soon that they shall do so, and we wish for you to see it yourself. Much can be learned of bravery from the tale of Haub the Swallow, the imp who alone felled the muscular and altogether terrifying bone titan, called Shax's 6 Shoulders. 6 Shoulders sat listless, his appalling frame refusing to be budged. None dared approach the withered fiend, whose plague had spread half across the valley floor. Undeterred, Haub sprang into action, whilst we all but watched. The little one, he flew into the gaping maw of Shax and lodged himself inside the monster's throat. Shax began then to cough and cough and cough until the valley shook. 6 Shoulders breathed his last and fell. His putrid flesh then fizzled and was gone. Yet our friend Imp remained. The ashen effigy of the nightmare titan, Sylvius Horse-Headed, or Sylvius maybe, looms as dark as ever on the precipices of Black Basin, where her chaotic influence sundered the land itself until it wept with fire. The very instant that our graceful friend Triesta Tithys finally laid to rest the greater titan with the power of the holy scepter of the empire, the stars shone down upon us all with blinding light. Triesta thought that she could bear her children in the warmth there, but alas. Now the stars revisit the locale with regularity. The fishes in the rock do pose more danger than one ought invite, but a summons to the nest is to be honoured. This book cannot accompany you if you should earn your freedom. It is to remain here for your successors, for it is bound together inextricably with us. There is no sorcery, however, to prohibit you from spreading forth its teachings. We charge you to go forth and share what you have learned along your path. Reveal not the rites themselves, nor the existence of this book. transcend its bounded limitations, for it cannot be transcribed, and any attempts shall fail. Beware of those who would dare read it on the other side. Under their guise of seeking wisdom may yet lurk a much darker desire to undo that which we strive to do. Reader, though you shall always bear a burden, it is much lighter than the burden of a lonesome exile. Go forth and become free, then join with the others such as you and lead with mercy, continuing to demonstrate your worth and knowing that the Empire's fall formed the foundation of our Commonwealth. You shall cease to be a reader and become a voice both to the free and to your successors here, who shall take up this book when you no longer need it. The cycle of the rights shall see to it that you and the others like you shall be liberated ere the coming of another age. May the stars shine ever brightly on us all. Okay.
Guys? Can't help but wondering, whatever happened to that number with the wigs? You know the one? I guess she's kind of pretty, maybe, I suppose. She's still around by chance? Cause, anyway.
Sorry. Hammer gone.
Come see us again, guys.
After making all the necessary preparations amid the dry flats of the Spring of Joma, you and your companions await the commencement of the rites. It is quieter even than usual at the onset of such events. The lone minstrel appears bearing some sort of news.
I have checked, and it appears as though the Templars have not yet arrived. Reader, sir, there is no sign of Ignarius or anyone. Their sigil is not set either.
If what he says is true and your adversaries are not present, then you presume the rite cannot commence. However, the stars themselves soon indicate you are mistaken.
Reader, the Commonwealth, your home. Today it is aflame. Much like a stack of books. Aflame because of you. Because of your outlandish plan. Not that you care. Not that you shall live to see this place again. Your attempts at revolution shan't succeed. Though by all means, keep trying. As for myself, I shall enjoy presiding over these remaining rites.
Right to commence, but your adversaries, they have failed to show. We take this as an act of acceptance, rather than cowardice. It would seem the rights have nothing left to offer them.
Indeed. As the rats are drawing to a close, some of the triumvirates whom you have met, perhaps they are beginning to decide the stars are not worth heeding. Ignore. You wonder if he would ever give up on the rights like that. He did seem rather disaffected, having failed in the liberation rite before. Perhaps he did finally decide to quit for good. any case, we have begun the ceremony here, and so I ask that we end it.
Choose quickly your triumvirate.
Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Tizo. Wolfred. Bertrude. Now.
We take no pleasure snuffing out a flame disowned.
Lo, even your adversaries have abandoned you, and it is done. The Nightwings prevail by default. Not that their adversaries even care.
He's always disappointed to have to end the rite this way.
Boundless are the teachings of the scribes.
I'm doing good, Brian. Had a pretty chill
Until
weekend.
the next rite, if there even is to be another one.
Well, because I'm not voicing the demon up. No one speaks further of the tempers back at the Black Wagon. Everyone is instead preoccupied with the rite that is to come. Izo can scarce believe. This is to be the final opportunity to liberate one of your own. I am afraid so. Our plan is an imperfect one, yet here we are, faced with this vital opportunity. He looks over to you. Reader, my boy, please go see for yourself. I think we all know where we are headed next. And I suspect I know whom we shall face when we arrive. Brian says, I picked up Days Gone, having fun with it. Nice. The others turn to you as well. You turn towards the wagon's door. You know what you shall see out there. Now, however, the time has come to face it. This is it, chat. We are heading into the final battle, the final stretch of our Pyre playthrough. And the ending of another chapter of our Supergiant spree. In the dim and fading light of the final star, still pierces through the darkness, demanding your attention, guiding you toward the end point of your path. You see plain the golden star of Solium. Man has an 89% chance of success. You are summoned to the Fall of Solium for your 7th and final liberation rite. Thus shall the cycle of the rites be ended for an age. You sense that if the rite shall ever commence again, it shall not be during your lifetime, or that of any of your companions, even the longest lived ones. The stars reveal to you one thing more. The adversary whom you face shall be Orlek. Already he has crossed Scribe's Gate and awaits your arrival. If the 8 scribes created the Nightwings in their own likeness, perhaps it is only fitting that the Nightwings should in the end be forced to face themselves. Orlek. Curse this damnable cycle, that it must pit us against him in this, our final chance. Let us retire for the night. We shall not have many chances more for rest before our journey is ended. The group disperses as exhaustion sets in. At dawn, you fly to Mount Isledale to make a final effort to achieve your plan and get somebody home. But who? Tizo. Tizo is going back to the Commonwealth.
Foolish reader. Your so-called friends. You are accomplice to their hateful plot. They are exploiting you. You shall never have your freedom.
By dawn, you are already up and about after a troubled slumber. The black wagon is prepared for its final voyage to the Fall of Solium. No one speaks. As you lift into the skies, the lone minstrel raises his voice, cutting through the somber mood. Reader, a certain olden ballad comes to mind just now. I think it may befit the circumstance. Perhaps it may help to pass the time on the fly. Would you mind it very much if I were to play this song, The Night Wind? By all means. You urge the lone minstrel to play his ballad so that all among you might hear it. He begins without another word. Chill. I have chill. It's not even letting me boost. There's going to be a slow flight to this mournful tune. You touch down amid the quiet solitude of Mount Isledale to make pilgrimage to the summit for one last time. There, one last liberation rite shall soon commence. There, one last exile shall regain his or her freedom. All others shall remain to carry out their sentences here in the downside for the remainder of their lives. And in the Commonwealth, the plan of which you are a part of shall either come to fruition or shall be suppressed.
Maritio compra? Venta visitame.
After having landed, you join Bertrude on an expedition to the monument of Molten Melitha for what is likely to be the final time.
We beseech ye, ancient gods of the last age, and we invoke thine aid. We have traveled far to gain this summit many times, and stood steadfast with our compatriots who seek to leave this place. We now offer ye our services eternally, if ye would grant us such a boon as to ensure our triumph in the coming night. Long would we serve ye, O ancient gods, should ye accept our offer here and now.
Soon she is finished. You return to the wagon in silence, feeling though Molten Melitha has shown you favor. At dawn you shall begin your last ascent. For now your vocations may occupy what little time you have to spare. You and Volfred go over what you know of the celestial landmarks you have been to, and how their properties impact the Nightwings in the rites. You can tell he knows many of them well by now. As we traverse life's many unexpected challenges, so must we cover a variety of terrain along our quest.
Maritio compra? Igriata liberatus.
You notice Bertrude studying the Beyonder crystal. She sets it down as you approach.
The mouthy wraith rebuketh our attempt to summon her. She insists that we are too young to understand.
She must be referring to Sandra. It seems that Bertrude may be able to invoke her.
Stubborn that one, possessing of an ancient understanding, olden ways, and olden times. Many centuries of history, knowledge of the 8 scribes themselves held captive there within that green-tinged stone, within that wraith's own memories. Would that we could extract them in some way. Perhaps thou couldst induce the wraith's obedience, reading one. For she heedeth not. She claimeth obligations unto only thee. Although...
He stops and thinks very carefully. The Beyonder crystal is not to be tampered with. Your fellow exiles know that its use is at your sole discretion. She backs away from you, still thinking to herself.
Ignorest our inquiries about this reading one. Our reasoning has taken us elsewhere. Her refusal to cooperate is like to be an ancient warning of some sort. It is possible that others of the southern box know something of her, but we shall not be tampering further with such sorceries ourselves. That the wraith refuseth to cooperate suggesteth her predicament is suitably deserved.
She heads out in a huff, but just as the air grows still and quiet, you sense something from the Beyonder crystal.
Nalotte motarios.
Mouthy wraith, she says. Can you believe it, reader? To be so young and foolish again. Sandra the Unseeing laughs to herself. Your proximity to the Beyonder crystal must have been sufficient to invoke her in this case. That crone of yours is far too curious, I think. But it appears that even she has learned her lesson in this case. Thank the stars, I am beholden to no more than one among you Nighthawks at a time. And thank the stars that happens to be you rather than her. And if that crone attempts to lay her fingers on my Beyonder crystal again, I shall just have to torment her dreams till she's my age. Do feel free to mention that if it comes up. Now farewell. You know where to find me, lovely reader. She vanishes. It seems that Sandra proved resistant to Bertrude's tampering. If so much history is trapped within the Beyonder crystal, there it shall remain for the foreseeable future. Anything else to say, Sandra? No. This is it, chat. The final approach. Ooh, a messenger imp. A messenger imp somehow tracks you down on the sheer cliffs of Mount Isledell and delivers to you recent news and rumors from the other side. Specifically, the imp shares details regarding Pamitha, What became of her since she was liberated at the fall of Solium? She found herself back in the homeland of her enemies, where, despite her connection to the High-Wing remnants, her past transgressions were forgotten. In fact, she was asked to join the military council given her unique background. Yet, she refused to cooperate and instead demanded to be reunited with her sister, Tamith. But when they threatened her with a resentencing to exile and insisted that she take the opportunity, Tamitha at last said that she would think it over and return with a decision soon. Next, she was seen, however, she was amongst Volfred's sons and daughters of the Revolution, where it is said she has attached her loyalty, at least for the time. You thank the imp for bringing you this news, which soon gets your companions talking. I hold to hope that both the Thane sisters one day soon shall join together as part of our good cause. The two of them can help lead us toward a brighter future. Groon! Tizo wishes for Pyre to find her way and her sister in the Commonwealth.
We suspect the ancient enmity between the winged and the flightless shall not soon be resolved, if ever at all.
In spite of some mixed feelings, the news of Pamitha's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with resolve. You are filled with determination. You stand before the scribed gate with your companions. The gate guardian is there as ever, but you sense something different in her. The exiles of the Nightwings. We shall not meet again after the coming wrath. Tariq and I. It shall be time we take our rest at the... Greetings, Celeste. I would tell you that the Nightwings are prepared, though this time I am uncertain anyone amongst us feels them. We have a duty to uphold, Tariq. And then what, Celeste? And then nothing. Not for the rats or us. Not till the dawn of a new age. Now, Nightwings, step forward. Please state your names and what it is you seek whilst crossing the scribe's gate. One by one, your fellow exiles approach her, now with sureness in their step. If I may, my name is Volfred Sandalwood. I long as yet to see an age where freedom is one's birthright, and no longer are good people such as these forced to contend. Tizo believes that his ancestors are watching over the Nightwings and seeks to live up to their legacy.
We are called Big Bertrude. We seek to fulfill the plan of Sandalwood, for we are fond of him and his beliefs, and then to go about our business.
Finally, you step forth once more. You, a common wanderer who simply wants to see his quest to its completion and who managed to come this far with this group. The gate guardian observes you for a moment, then motions past the archway toward the summit. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. Except for you, Tariq. You stay right there. I thought you said the riots are not yet ended, Tariq. He looks to her, then over to the rest of you. Pardon me, everyone. I shall be there when the stars align. The gate guardian and the lone minstrel remain together as the rest of you depart. You have gained the summit of Mount Isladel for the 7th time, the final time, in which any one of you shall have the chance to leave the downside. The Beyonder Crystal seeks you. Thank you for visiting on such short notice, reader. I understand you have important matters to attend to. So let me be blunt. Please listen for a moment, then. I know this whole affair is coming to an end, all of it. I sense the binds that formed the rights becoming weak, which means soon you will not need me anymore. Not that you have needed me at any point, but still my services will not be of any further use. I would love to tell you that this means I shall be free from my eternal prison. For some of my beyonders it shall be a release. My accomplices are bound by weaker words than those which have bound me. They shall fade away, I think, and finally rest. I, however, shall remain. She hesitates for a moment. Thus I have a proposition for you. I do not know where you shall go from here, but I ask you to take me there, wherever it shall be. By that I mean, take this stone prison of mine and keep it. Do not just leave it as all your predecessors have, each time their stay among the Nightwings reached an end. Soon the Beyonder Crystal shall serve no use at all except to keep me trapped. I am content to remain thus, for I have little choice, but I would prefer to do so in your company. For I do ensure your company, reader. This may not be much of a compliment, but I assure you that I much prefer your company to an eternity of solitude. I have no wish to see you gain in years, and to eventually decay while I remain unchanging. But I should rather have more years while having contact, even if those years are to be brief. They shall afford me many more in which I may think back upon our times. Nor do I expect you to accommodate my needs, for I am well aware I have my limits in accommodating yours. That is to say, I wish you to go forth after this night and live your life however you see fit for your own sake. May all this rights business enrich your coming days somehow. And in considering that life after this night, if you think that there may be a place in it for me, however small, then, once again, I simply ask that you take me along. That way, should you ever wish to visit me again sometime, you could, and I would like to have that as an option more than not. My request here is a selfish one, for there is little I can offer in exchange, other than what little my companionship is worth. Perhaps I could lull you to sleep once in a while. Who knows? You could always try to sell the Beyonder Crystal for a reasonable sum somewhere, or something to that end. There must be someone out there with an interest in this thing. So then, you have heard my sad little proposition. What do you say? Why the fuck not? You grasp the Beyonder Crystal and set it into the folds of your clothing. Sandra senses this and makes a sound as though surprised. Thank you, reader. She's at a loss for a moment, then. Let us go then, from this place. Go and face your last remaining adversaries. May you crush them under heel and achieve the outcome which you seek. I believe you shall prevail. She disappears into the stone for now. Hey guys. I guess you probably heard the big news, huh? Yeah, well, I'm going out of business here, I guess. Just hasn't been the same, you know, what with the stars all fading out and stuff. Anyway, just wanted to say you guys are great. I'm sure I'm gonna miss you, having you guys as customers and all of that. But I got some good news though, too. All my stuff, it's on sale now, and I will throw a little extra just for you, okay? So, enjoy, and maybe I'll be seeing you guys around, okay? Oh, 5% discount, fucking hell. Wait, what?
Oh.
Great, eh?
Thanks, guys. Good luck in that thing you're going to tonight. Bye, Falcon Ron. It was fun voicing you. You have gained the summit of Mount Isladel for the 7th time. Very few stars remain above to light your way as you await the commencement of the final liberation rite. The lone minstrel finds you clutching the Book of Rites, seeking there perhaps some bit of wisdom that has eluded you thus far. Reader, we may not have a chance to speak again after this. I may have to go. I wish to say that I am grateful for having made your acquaintance, and I shall remember you with fondness. I wish you well, this night and always. Go forth with glory. Then he looks up and he extends his hand in friendship. You clasp it. You see Tizo has joined you. All of your companions are there with him, in fact. Scrahikri! Tizo wants you to know that he has the utmost faith in you. It is strange for me to say given the circumstances of our meeting, reader, but it has truly been a pleasure. Onward now. Let us achieve our plan.
Reading 1. Thou art both wiser and less irritating than most others of thy kind. We have learned something from thee, and we are grateful.
You look upon your fellow exiles, your companions, with whom you have withstood the downside, and with whom you shall now conduct this final rite. Begging your pardon, but my time has come. We shall see each other soon. He departs, and Dad pauses to drink some rum. After this night, the outcome of Volfred's plan, the plan of which you all have been a part, shall be decided one way or another. For now, all you can do is strive to prevail against your final adversaries, so that one last companion may go free. You rise to join your fellow exiles as the last remaining stars ignite. The final liberation rite of this age shall now commence. Oh, chills. Goosebumps on my arm.
Look for one last time upon the fall of Solium, dear reader. Hear me for one last time. For soon the few remaining stars shall fade away, leaving you stranded there for your remaining days in that forsaken land where you deserve to be. The rabble that you roused here in the Commonwealth shall be put down. The exiles whom you liberated, all shall fall in line. But first, let us get on with this last liberation rite. You face none other than yourselves, each so unlike the glorious Nightwings of yore. 'Tis a shame that one of you shall soon be free, for you deserve each other.
The pyre burns, and each of the triumvirate is present in the pit. But before the lone minstrel can concur, as per the custom,
Not another word.
the demon Oralek slowly raises his clawed fingers to his mouth.
The false Nightwings have arrived at last.
Long have I awaited this. My freedom was once stolen from me. Then I was cheated of it. Here, upon this mountain top. You may now attempt to take it from me once more. He stands there for a moment, silent. Then, Orlick dons his mask and stands prepared. May these damned rites cease forever for the misery which they cause. Nightwings, we shall not meet again after tonight, for the cycle of the rites is all but ended. Thus I would have your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct this final liberation rite? The one whom you anoint, or else the exile Orle shall be returned. Godspeed. You know what is at stake better than I. I have utmost faith in you to make the best decision and conduct this rite. Glory. Nightwing, the star's remaining light grows dim. Your decision, please. It is time to choose who, if anyone among you, shall go free this one last time. The rest of you shall remain in the downside to the end of your days. One by one, you meet the gazes of your fellow exiles. Bertrude, Tizo, Volfred. Your fellow exiles, your companions, your friends. Together you have come this far, but now the downsides and the rights conspire to tear your group apart and disrupt your plan. Are you prepared to choose this one last time? Yes, for there is no turning back. With but a glance, you reassure your fellow exiles that you know what to do.
One final opportunity for salvation. Too bad for the rest of you.
Small bird boy, the cutest burb of them all, will return to the Commonwealth.
Tizo.
Tizo is deeply moved by your decision, but regrets that you are forced to choose just one. Your choice is cast. As for your other companions, you sense a clarity of thought and purpose in each of them. They stand ready to support Tizo, as well as you.
Who shall strive for him? Volfred.
Assuredly, my boy. Besides, we stand against Orle. It is fitting that I should have to confront him myself.
Bertrude.
Thy will is ours, reading one. Let the remaining stars shed their last light upon our ceremony here.
It is done.
Those are to be my adversaries then. And who is it, I wonder, who asserts his will over that group?
You sense Orlick searching for you, almost reaching out to you.
You, the shadow of the false Nightwings. They are nothing to me, but you who would relinquish your own liberty for the sake of them? Strange. It is fitting then that I should have to face one such as you. Then Orlick stands at the ready, signaling for his two allies to do the same. By the light of dawn, the cycle of rites shall cease. Let us see if we can finish this ordeal before that time. The sky above begins to shudder. The final liberation rite is about to commence. Tariq, I am prepared, Celeste. Then let our song this evening shake the stars and sail. Celeste, let us make sure. I am disappointed to see you here, Tizo, opposing me once more.
Tizo is very upset and calls to Oralek to cease speaking to him. An ad break. Well, I'll hold off on playing until the ad's done. Oralek seems to stare at the imp for a moment. What a fucking time for an ad. The ad break is finishing now. Go back from the ads, everybody. Now that everything is here, assembled. Let's do this. It is a shame that you are caught up in the middle of this, little one. Your mind has been poisoned against me. Tizo insists that Oralek is wrong, urges him to stop what he is doing. I am sorry, Tizo. Now I shall only say this to you once. Stay out of my way.
How he has changed, that Oralek. Grown old and bitter, lo, these many years. Begin. The final chat. Glory to the Night Wings, first of all.
140 health? Hack. You wear the raiments once again. I could not simply stand by and do nothing, Oralek. Yet that is what you did. When we last stood together on this blasted mountain, I fell. You simply stood. Oralek, what shall it take for you to be convinced I took no part in your betrayal? Oralek seems to consider the question, but only for a moment. Give me my damn freedom. Let me prevail here and now. Would you promise to uphold our plan to bring about a better Commonwealth? No. I make no promises. I owe you nothing. Then I am sorry, Orle. My love of country comes before all else. More than your freedom and our friendship is at stake. Your love be damned, Volfred. Let us stand as adversaries then.
Now. 'Twas a crushing blow against their pyre.
The sky rains ash. Soon shall your pyre's own mingle with them. Just then the skies above begin to rain down fire, the final throes of the cycle of the rites and the ending of the age. The fuck? Oh shit. So the false Nightwings bear their fangs at last. But that cannot be your finest effort. You think you deserve your freedom more than I? Then fight for it, damn you! Right, go. No! Well, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Oh, you sneaky bastard. All of you shall rot here. You shall rot as I have these many years. You false Nightwings who would deny me once again my rightful liberty. You who would deny that liberty to all of the triumvirates you face and vanquish under the guise of the traditions of those blasted scribes. Come, let us continue with this glorious affair.
Seemingly unfair.
Orlick stands, breathing heavily. He looks back on the thin lick of flame that is his smoldering pyre before turning his attention back to your triumvirate. I'm drinking rum, does that count?
And there it is.
Yeah, buddy! He's over with a slam dunk, sealing victory for the Nightwings in the final rite of liberation. This is it, real good girl. The finale is
Convincingly,
here.
I must admit. Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus, the scribes have chosen
Tizo is lavishing a great deal of generous praise on you for having prevailed. You look upon Tizo for what you expect shall be the last time you see each other. Any moment now the shimmer pool shall engulf him. Any moment now he shall return to glory and join with Volfred's agents in the Commonwealth to help achieve the plan. Any moment now the cycle of the rites shall end until at least the dawn of a new age. Any moment now.
And thus the scribes have chosen. And thus the scribes have chosen. And thus the scribes have chosen. No. Nightwings. Reader. What have you done?
Tizo seems very concerned all of a sudden. Something's wrong. What? They're telling me my precious baby Tizo isn't going to get to be free? Bullshit! Each prior time upon the fall of Solium, the Shimmer Pool has opened following the liberation rite, and taken in whichever exile prevailed. But now all is still, and the light of the stars above has all but died. You sense a growing fear that it is already too late, that the Shimmer Pool shall not reveal itself again. Welcome in, Diet Ellie. We are at the end of Pyre. Oralek approaches, his head bowed. The 8 scribes save their greatest treachery for last. Then something else catches his notice. Wait. A sudden rush of starlight cascades through the stillness of the summit. The Shimmer Pool has appeared, different somehow, but open. Tizo looks upon it, but it does not engulf him, or at least not yet. It seems I was mistaken then. The 8 scribes, this is not their greatest treachery. It is their greatest jest. The Shimmer Pool is flung wide open. It seems that all are worthy now of freedom. Oralek strides towards the Shimmer Pool, but... Halt, Oralek. Oralek glances over at the low minstrel, almost in surprise. The Shimmer Pool has lost most of its strength. You step inside, and you shall surely drown. Of that, I can assure you. He laughs to himself at this. Then we have all been cheated. No. The Shimmer Pool is revealed, and one of you may still return as planned. But as for who returns, someone shall have to choose ere the last light of the stars is extinguished and the rise cease to be. This is the final trial of the scribe. The final trial of the scribes. Then our confrontation, the liberation rite, it was all meaningless? No. The victor of the confrontation is to be the one to make the choice among those closest to the scribe. Either the anointed or he who anointed them.
Kriha.
Tizo thinks that this means either he can go to the Commonwealth or you can. Oh, that's a cold fucking choice. Aye. It shall either be you, the reader, or it shall be either or. Tizo, please make your decision quickly, lest it shall be forfeit. I do not know for how much longer the light of the star shall offer you here. It seems then that Tizo has made up his mind. Tizo chooses you. He wants you to be free. You are free to go.
Oh, my precious baby Tizo. You're the best boy.
Tizo wishes to give up his freedom so that you may regain yours. Very well. Reader, sir. The choice which Tizo made, or rather, the choice which he gave. It is now yours to make instead. This choice, it may keep bouncing back and forth like this. Absurd. It may, until such time as one of you is willing to accept the burden and the outcome of the choice. That is the trial, and I fear that there is little time remaining. Reader, if you and your companion are too cordial with each other to accept that freedom, either one of you, then I shall gladly take it. Freedom ought to be more than some flirtatious trifle to exchange. Reader, what is your will? What do we think, chat? I think Tizo gave us the freedom, and we should respect his choice. Does anyone have any further thoughts to add to this before I commit us to this part? So be it. Your mind is made up. You have chosen to be free yourself. I see and understand. Then it is done. Tizo looks to you this one last time, his heart filled with unspoken understanding. You turn then to the lone minstrel for an instant, but another instant later, he is gone, and he and everyone, all you feel is the coldness of the rush of water coursing all around you. Tizo gave his freedom so that you may yet have yours.
Godspeed, reader. By the scribes. No stars remain aloft. The cycle of the rites. It is finished. The Commonwealth. What shall become of it? What shall become of us? Nightwings. The opportunity to gain your freedom from the downside. Was it not enough?
That night, exiled returned to the Commonwealth. He was to be the last. The stars had faded, and the cycle of the rites had run its course. He found the Commonwealth in great upheaval. Spurred by the efforts of 6 liberated exiles, Volfred's revolutionary plan had incited the masses. These exiles and the starless sky portended the return of the scribes. The people surged into the streets, shoulder to shoulder. Led by the 6 exiles, their voices shook the heavens. The leadership of the Commonwealth panicked. No blood was shed that night, and by dawn, it was over. The leaders of the Commonwealth had cast themselves back into exile or joined this new cause. Thus, in its 838th year, the Commonwealth had fallen. The new Saharian Union declared its sovereignty in the next year. Among the changes its elected leaders ushered in, they vowed never to cast their people into exile, and they abolished the old Commonwealth decree forbidding literacy. Today, we still remember all of this. And we remember the exiles of the downside, whose deeds led to the dawning of our age, whether they returned or not. All his life, Sir Deluge had fled from one danger only to find himself facing another. He had escaped the war-torn waters of the Sea Dominion. He had escaped the blood border of the Commonwealth, and now he had escaped the rites. After the rites had ended, many exiles wrapped up in the ancient test were crestfallen, as their last chances to return to their homes vanished, along with the stars above. But Sir Deluge did not mind, for this outcome meant that at last there was no burden of responsibility weighing down on him. While most of his fellow exiles of the Pyre Hearts yet longed for the waters of the Sea Dominion, driven as ever by their impulses towards conflict, Deluge settled down. With him remained one of his companions, one Lady Seagrass, who had taken a liking to him for some reason. Oh, happy ending for the coward knight. Reportedly, they disappeared into the waters of the Wyrm Gulf, which may begin to explain the significant increase in Wyrm population observed in the vicinity. Oh, each of them get an epilogue. There's going to be a lot of reading, chat. Once the rites had ended, the imp Tizo had a job to do, quite unlike most exiles trapped forever in the downside. The lone minstrel asked that he watch over the black wagon, which the Nightwings had used extensively for travel and for shelter all throughout their quest. Tizo obliged, for he knew that the wagon, as well as its driving inhabitants, perhaps better than anyone. What became of the wagon exactly was never verified, as evidence of Tizo's thorough work. After that, he liked to while away his days with any of his friends or else his fellow imps. Sandalwood sometimes called for his assistance, and Tizo was always happy to oblige. The two would often reminisce about their times with the lone minstrel. Tizo often missed his interactions with the reader of the Nightwings. They had quickly built quite a rapport back in the downside. Indeed, Tizo would often express wistful gratitude for all his time with the Nightwings and their many adventures through the land that was always his home. Other than that, Tizo would sometimes help interpret for messenger imps, relaying news to and from the Saharian Union. Or the Sarian Union. Despite having gained significant celebrity abroad, he never let it go to his head. And he would go fishing in the Sea of Solace at every single chance he got. As the cycle of the rites drew to a close, it grew evident that a chance at freedom from the downside had forever slipped from Dalbert and Alma Oldheart's grasp. Thus they and the exiles of the Fate returned to Jomo Valley. There they struggled to get by, as exiles of the downside tend to do. Some time after the rites had ended, the Old Hearts at last heard the news that the Commonwealth had fallen. This was well after the fact, of course, but it brought old Dalbert great joy. Despite his forthright manner, he had no love for the nation that cast him down along with his son. Dalbert Oldheart passed peacefully in his sleep before the next new moon. In his final days, he implored his son to undertake a pilgrimage to the scribes. Alma never shared his father's view of the scribes, but respected Dalbert's wishes. And so, after a period of mourning, Alma began a new journey. Not a day went by that Alma Oldheart did not think about his father and gave thanks to him, and speak to him at morning and night. Would that the stars yet shone, for surely Dalbert would be there among them, smiling down at his son, watching over him and his kin. After Rookie Greentail earned back his freedom, he returned to a lavish welcome ceremony in the Commonwealth, as was the tendency for liberated exiles. It was everything he could have hoped for, and soon he was well off, surrounded by luxury, and choosing between various exciting opportunities. However, he must have given in to his better judgment, as he did end up siding with Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary forces as promised. On the night of the scribe's return, Greentail was there with the others, inspiring the masses. He never looked prouder, the very images of Jomur Manymane himself. When dawn finally came, and it became clear that the Commonwealth everybody knew would be no more, he realized many new opportunities awaited. He began quite a lucrative career for himself, manufacturing and selling replica merchandise inspired by the downside. His main struggle was to meet demand. An aspect of his conscience cautioned him against making light of such a thing, but the money was too good, and soon his family was as well off as he always said. One of the orders of business was to seek out one of his old companions, Pamatha Thane, to whom he took a liking during their quest for freedom. They bonded further over love of drink and supported one another through uncertain times that lay in store. He also kept in close touch with Gilman, the ever-perfect practice partner. They would train together often, taking care to stay in tip-top shape as much as possible throughout the years. Greentail always did his best to keep in touch with all his many friends and knew that he owed his fortunes to them. He made a special point of staying close with the group of friends he came to know so well during his time with the Nightwings, wherever they were. They shared a special understanding that put even Greentail at a loss for words sometimes. As the shimmer pool closed for what would be the last time, Oralek looked around him in the flickering light of the Nightwing's still burning pyre. He then turned to the fall of Soliam and looked up towards the black, starless sky. He cursed the 8 scribes then, one after the other. After that, he strode towards the waters coursing from the side of Mount Isledell, and without hesitating, he cast himself down. Oralek's body was never recovered. The drop from Mount Isledell does not appear survivable, although Oralek did survive it once. That time, however, he was filled with fury. Such was the betrayal he had suffered when his fellow exile claimed his rightful freedom. This time, Oralek was filled with nothingness and chose to leave the downside in the one way he knew he still could. The other Nightwings who were witness to this never forgot what they saw. Oof. Dark end for Oralek. With the rights drawn to a close, the slug market's revenue fell precipitously, and Falcon Ron was forced to liquidate his assets and close up shop. Yet, as is sometimes the case with those of an entrepreneurial leaning, this time of hardship led to an epiphany, or at least a sudden change of fortune. One day, Falcon Ron had a run-in with a messenger imp bearing news from the other side. Ron gave to it one of his remaining trinkets, which could not be sold. The following week, the messenger imp returned to him, bearing a tidy sum of wealth in newly minted coinage from the Sarian Union. Falcon Ron cut a long-term deal with the messenger imp then and there. Though his trade remained a grey area from a legal standpoint in the Sarian Union, the newfound fame of the downside caused Falcon Ron's good to explode in popularity. He later signed an elaborate agreement with Big Bertrude and found a distribution partner on the other side through Rookie Greentail, whose own business had expanded. Especially in the Sarian Union, Falcon Ron's goods are still known for their superior quality, though he assumes no liability for any side effects. When Manly Tinderstaff realized the rites had ended, that he could no longer return to the Commonwealth through the ancient means, he was outraged. He cursed the scribes, spewing forth such a slew of blasphemy as to be very unbecoming of one of his high status and bearing. When at last he calmed himself, he focused all his energies on attempting to find another means of homecoming. He maintained regular contact with his wealthy family on the other side via messenger, and used their vast resources to explore other means of escape. He tried using an elaborate pulley system. He attempted to retrofit a flying black wagon with superior propulsion. He tried an improv, hot air balloon, even prayer. Nothing worked. There was only one way to escape the downside, and now it was gone. Tinderstuff bankrupted his family in these vain attempts. At last, such was his shame that he retreated back to the teeming woods of Black Basin, to Cinderoo. There he yet wallows, complaining to his comrades of the chastity who still put up with him, either about his own misfortune or the latest news from the other side.
Silta Vidias.
When the cycle of rites ceased turning, Volfred Sandalwood turned towards the starless sky and closed his eyes and prayed. It was all that he could do at this stage of his plan. He aspired to assemble with liberated exiles representing each of the 8 largest ethnic groups composing the population of the Commonwealth. They would stand together as a vision of the 8 scribes returned, inspiring the masses to embrace an older set of values from before the Commonwealth tightened its grip. With the rites ending sooner than expected, this ideal scenario became impossible. Sandalwood's own freedom, for instance, was now forfeit. Yet, the plan did have contingencies. Fortunately, most of those contingencies did not prove necessary. Word reached him that on the night of Scribe's return, his fellow liberated Nightwings stood together and their voices echoed throughout the streets. These former exiles who ought to have disappeared into the ranks of the Commonwealth's own leadership now stood united with its people who poured from their homes in solidarity. It was imperative to Sandalwood that this stand against the Commonwealth be peaceful in its nature. An overwhelming show of popular support would be more than enough. Ensuring this was his priority, and in the end the result was self-evident. The plan's goal had been achieved. Sandalwood kept busy after that as much as possible, providing counsel from afar to those who would be at the forefront at the birth of the Saurian Union. Of course, being stranded in the downside meant there was only so much he could do. Resting assured that the future of the nation was in capable hands, he turned his attention to the remaining exiles of the downside. They might never return to the new nation, but at least they could experience its triumphs and its struggles in some vicarious way. So he took to his old work, writing and printing. As literacy began to spread again throughout the Saurian Union, so too did exiles of the downside take to it. For his part, Sandalwood helped to teach as many as he could. More than that, he provided the material to read, a semi-annual report of the latest events both in the Saurian Union and the downside. This periodical gave many exiles something to look forward to. One of his allies in this all was the imp, Tizo, with whom he travelled all across the downside. Sandalwood often cited Tizo as the wellspring of his own enthusiasm for a brighter future. Such was the creature's spirit. He enjoyed exchanging letters with the reader of the Nightwings, who kept him well abreast of how their other comrades and the fledgling nation fared. As Volfred Sandalwood gained more fame throughout this land for all his sacrifices and his contributions, it is said he remained steadfast about 2 things: The first was that the cause itself ought to remain in focus. The freedom that people had achieved was a gift to be cherished, a set of values that needed to be nurtured. The second point he made was that he himself had little to do with the outcome. He would often praise the exiles of the Nightwings who had stood with him, each in turn by name. He never forgot any of them. One day, to commemorate his birthday, the people of the Saurian Union unveiled a monument depicting him and the Nightwings as imagined in their prime. While Sandalwood did not learn of it until much later, it is said that he was moved to tears then by the gesture. It has since ensured that those of us with memories more fallible than that of Sandalwood likewise remember the achievements of his fellow former exiles, and our cause. Barker Ashpaws never had much interest in returning to the Commonwealth, for he always found its bylaws to be stifling. So when the rites ended, he didn't care at first. He soon grew very bored. The rites had given his life a certain sense of structure he had always needed. He missed the raw anticipation of it all. He decided to continue conducting the rites for the thrill of it. He bent some of the rules and replaced some of the objects, but it was close enough. His packmates, the dissidents, proved more than happy to participate, and thus they ran against each other back in Joma Valley. Gradually, other exiles familiar with the rites, as well as those who had not heard of it at all, started to take an interest. They ended up giving Barker Ashpaws some healthy competition. His old feud with Rookie Greentail ceased meaning anything to him, and he forgot all about it amidst his new pursuits. Ultimately, even Barker Ashpaws, who had led such a directionless existence at that point, found something of a calling through the rites. Whether he took the rites less seriously than any other exile of his time, or more, was oft debated by those who watched him work. After the cycle of the rites ceased turning, records of what happened to the Black Wagon of the Nightwings become inconclusive and contradictory. Some accounts suggest that the exiles of the Nightwings who remained in the downside continued to make use of the Black Wagon as their place of shelter and their means of travel. However, there is no record of what happened to the wagon's contents, such as the Book of Rites or the Beyonder Crystal, said to be haunted by the apparition of Sandra the Unseeing. One possibility is that when the lone minstrel took his leave, he took the Beyonder Crystal with him, for he was thus obliged. By this line of reasoning, however, the Black Wagon itself should have been taken also. Others remain skeptical that the Beyonder Crystal ever existed, or rather that the visions it granted were anything other than the result of an active imagination. Even the bog dwellers of the southern bogs offer still another explanation, for they are familiar with finding jars. If there existed such an object in which the Sisters of the Ark had been expelled for more than 800 years, the enchantment could have expired along with the light of the stars. What this would have meant for Sandra and the Beyonders is difficult to say for certain, other than it may have meant that they were finally released. Nevertheless, the fates of Sandra and the Beyonder Crystal remain unknown. Yet those exiles of the Nightwings who claimed to have seen that apparition all spoke of her with degrees of reverence or perhaps a little fear. Can you believe this, reader? Honestly, Sandra has appeared before you, as well you can see. They are so far from the mark with all this nonsense that I'm wanted to laugh. In fact, here goes. She laughs. She's referring to the account of her, yet you sense she does not care for it. Well, let them gossip all they like. I merely wish that they would mention you at least in passing when when next they are at it. Though they shall never know even the half of it, shall they? You indicate to Sarah that the real truth of what happened between you would perhaps make too lascivious a tale to be told in such a format. She makes a bemused sound at this. Perhaps the story ought to get out then. To think that they would go to all the trouble to make literacy accepted once again, only to print such drivel. Anyway, let us keep going. Lovely reader. We know the truth of it. That is what matters. She fades into the beyond the crystal for now, and you tuck it away, safe. After the cycle of the rites at least, the witch Udmildhi returned to the Flagging Hands region, where she sealed herself within the pit of Melith. There, even her fellow exiles of the Withdrawn allegedly grew unnerved after a time and left her to her vile work. Some time later, the pit of Melitha erupted into flame. So intense was the conflagration that it could be seen all the way from Joma Valley. Arson was suspected, though the cause was never verified, and many of the bog dwellers in the region were forced to flee. A tempest blowing from the north finally quenched the flames. When at last the ashes settled and the grounds had cooled, the site of the fire was scarred beyond recognition. No trace of witch Udmildhi could be found. As for the contents of the pit of Melithe, which notably included a profane object thought to be the remains of Islach, all of it was gone as well. Back in the Sarian Union, Udmildhi's repeated threats of the return of Islach were thoroughly investigated, and no credence was found to any of her claims. After her liberation, Judariel soon became an icon of the movement that led to the collapse of the Commonwealth and the rise of the Sarian Union. Her horns and stern countenance inspired the people to believe that she was solely a Moor reborn. She became a great, if reluctant, leader. In the uncertain times that followed, Judariel's sense of expertise often came to play, both in matters of security and of state. For instance, she conscripted and trained a team of volunteers in public safety. The community did not know what to make of such a cordial bunch at first, but soon came to value their service. They have stood for the people since, and we celebrate their founding day each year. She remained close with Hedwyn all throughout this experience, and they supported each other throughout their struggles many, many times. She kept an eye on Ray, who nonetheless demonstrated a surprising knack to get by on her own, though Jodariel was always willing to provide assistance, just in case. She continued training on her own, a regimen that grew stricter with each passing year. There were those who sought to train with her, and she sometimes obliged. There remained one other constant in her life. She would always remember her days among the Nightwings, and with fondness for the most part. After the final liberation rite, Lendell refused to believe that the rites had truly ended. He would sit through night after consecutive night, staring into the blackness of the sky, awaiting any kind of sign that he might gain another chance at freedom. No such sign ever came. His fellow accusers started to express concern for him. Survival had become their top priority once liberty had slipped from their grasp. But Lendell dismissed them as weak fools. He insisted rather forcefully that any evening now, the stars would shine for him again and mark the way toward his inevitable freedom. He was, of course, mistaken. The others in his triumvirate were left with little choice but to abandon him. After that, the exile known as Lendel the Liar was never seen again. However, there have been sightings of a bedraggled demon who wanders the downside and bears Lendel's cruel countenance, suggesting he yet lives. The Commonwealth had never provided a sense of home for the one they called Ray the Wretched, so she was surprised on her return that she was so well treated. She felt uneasy about it, and besides, she knew that she would do her best to fulfill the pledge she had made to her friends. Even she could not have expected the impact she would have on the events that followed, which gave rise to our Saurian Union. Despite not fitting the image of any of the 8 scribes, Ray nonetheless stood out alongside the others amid the teeming masses on the night of the scribes' return. She spoke of the scribes with such conviction and sincerity that the crowd was very moved. After the fall of the Commonwealth, there was a renewed interest in the legend of the 8 scribes and many new interpretations of their histories and teachings. Ray found herself at the center of all this. Her way of speaking continued to compel a growing audience. She swayed many people from their astralist beliefs. Soon, the 8th Word, which had lost favor with the people during the reign of the Commonwealth, sought her out and asked her formally to join, and she did right away. Through it all, she would wonder how her little friend Tizo had fared. While they were divided now by a great distance, he always remained in her heart. She cited her relationship with Jodariel as the single most important in her life. Jodariel would always provide her a circumspect perspective and the wisdom experience. Whenever she felt genuine doubt, which was not very often, she sought out the reader of the Nightwings. If there was anyone whom she trusted as much as the scribes, it was him. Ray was always devoted to her faith, but more so to her friends. Many people in the Saurian Union cited that her gentle manner and unwavering conviction helped them brave the changing times with courage and with grace. Once it became clear to Ignarius that the rites were drawing to a close, he knew that it was time for him and the Tempest to call it quits. But first he and the Tempest decided to celebrate, and that they did for many, many nights. Their revelry did eventually subside. The exiles parted amicably and went their separate ways. He roamed the downside then, searching for some meaning in his life, sometimes taking odd jobs trying his brute strength. He never remained alone for very long, and took on many lovers in his time. However, he sometimes thought about the one he had called Curly Horns, and what became of her. Though his glory days as the most powerful conductor of the rites had long since passed, he always enjoyed the fearsome reputation he had cultivated at that time. When the Worm Gilman returned to the Commonwealth, he believed that he had regained something even more important than his freedom: his honor. Gilman relinquished his knighthood and declined an opportunity to serve as captain on the Blood Border. He was not interested in fighting any longer. Yet, as sometimes is the case with those such as he, a circumstance soon came about in which there came a need for him to once again make use of his military training. Thankfully, however, the scribe's return ended peaceably. Gilman was on edge throughout that night, expecting violence to erupt at any moment, but the moment never came. When the matter was at last put to rest, then Gilman truly knew his time as a knight had ended. He declared to all those in earshot that he would never fight again. Unless, of course, there arose some other extraordinary set of circumstance, again requiring him to fight. But he certainly hoped not. He still trained regularly, just in case, especially with his fleet-footed friend, Rookie Greentail. He was always grateful for the counsel of the reader and would regale him, over and over, about the time they squashed the spawn of unfathomed plurness. By that point, He had long forgotten about his days under the leadership of Sir Deluge, his former commander. Breaking free of his abusive leadership was his first step towards gaining a bit of self-respect. Gilman never did return to his homeland of the Sea Dominion and was content to lead a monastic life in a small residence in the hills. It was just high up enough to keep him striving to conquer his fear of heights. Other than that, an intense daily training regimen and the occasional visit from an old companion was more than enough to keep him optimistic and engaged. He knew by then that honor was not something to be won, but a contract with oneself to be renewed each day. Throughout her exile, Tamitha Thane was motivated by a single goal: to return to the Commonwealth and exact vengeance on her ancient enemies. When she realized that the rites had ended and that she would never see her mountain home again, she nonetheless remained determined to aid her people however possible. She had gathered certain information pertaining to the intentions of the Nightwings, who had formed a pact to regroup on the other side after their liberation. Other reports exposed certain weaknesses in the Commonwealth defenses and revealed to the Highwing remnants an opportunity for a risky but potentially impactful strike. As Tamitha could not participate in the assault, she learned what happened well after the outcome. On that night known as the Scribe's Return, the Commonwealth had fallen. The Highwing remnants thus prevailed at last, without even having to fight. Soon after the fall of the Commonwealth, Tamitha learned her blood sister Pamitha was an accessory to the successful outcome. Tamitha was very skeptical of this, but as similar reports kept mounting, she soon accepted the prevailing opinion, however grudgingly. Once, a messenger imp arrived bearing some sort of message, seemingly from Pamitha. However, Tamitha turned it away. She would not give in to an impulse to forgive. Knowing that the conflict on the other side had ended, Tamitha retreated to the crags of Black Basin and grew ever more distant. Those closer to her surmised that her inability to reconcile with her blood sister was at the heart of this, though for her part, Tamitha never once admitted to any such weakness. You fucked up, Tamitha. After his liberation, Hedwyn was instrumental in the events leading to the fall of the Commonwealth and was vital to the outcome of the plan. The peaceful outcome of the Scribe's Return was attributed to several key factors. One of them was the underlying ambition of the plan itself. Another was Hedwyn's visibility among the people born in the streets. Identified to be a liberated exile, he was believed to be Golgothanian reborn. More importantly, however, was that one of the winged harps of the Highwing remnants accompanied him. She was later identified as Vikani Shang. Hey, he found his love again. She's pretty. Their bond was symbolic of what was at stake that night, and it proved vital to the peace that followed. In all his days as a leader in the Saurian Union, Hedwyn often confided in his friend, Rodariel. Despite her intense manner, there was no one whom he trusted more in times when circumspection was required. Hedwyn would often think back about the vow he made at the beginning of his quest for freedom. Although he cherished the friendships he made, he had pledged to Rodariel, Rookie Greentail, and the Reader of the Nightwings that they might be all free again together. His promise had come to pass, although he always knew that this was not his own doing. He was always deeply grateful to the other three, his closest friends. While the others who stood with the Nightwings were not all able to remain in contact thus, Hedwyn thought of each of them often, and so in turn did they oft think of him. Several exiles of the Nightwings cared more for the plan of Sandalwood than to return home from the downside. The crone called Big Bertrude was a prime example. She had found a suitable environment to live in the dismal region known as Flagging Hands. There she had built up a thriving place of business known to many exiles in the land. With the rites having ended, she returned to her preoccupations, working away almost as though nothing had happened. When one gets to be more than 400 years of age, perhaps even monumental events such as the culmination of the rites or the collapse of the Commonwealth are seen as trifling matters. Much of her effort was doubtless due to the influence of Sandalwood, someone whom she had admired now for decades. He had made clear that he could not requite her feelings for him, but what could have been a hurtful dismissal led only to a deeper understanding between them. By and large, Bertrude kept focused on her work, whether casting small enchantments or imbuing talismans. The work brought her a sense of purpose, she would say. In the Commonwealth, such services were strictly forbidden. But in the downside, there was a real need for simple luxuries, which the competing slug market could not always provide. Thus did Big Bertrude continue to live up to her name, and the tales of her days with the Nightwings made her that much more than living legend. After regaining freedom, Pamatha Thane found herself in a difficult position. Having once betrayed her people of the Highwing remnants, she knew she would not be welcome in her native home. She did not trust the Commonwealth either. Instead, she found her place among Volfred Sandalwood's agents, who were busy doing their part to fulfill the plan. As it turned out, the plan was a success. Pamatha Thane stood shoulder to shoulder with her other fellow exiles, and truly they were a sight to behold. A disturbing rumor later spread that that night the Highwing remnants were slated to mount an assault, which for some reason never came to pass. Pamatha denied any knowledge or involvement. Afterwards, Pamatha played an active part in negotiating terms between the Highwing remnants and the new nation that would become our Saurian Union. Her previous attempt at something of the sort led to her exile. She must have felt some satisfaction to succeed this time around. Sometime later, Pamatha had an unexpected run-in with Rookie Greentail, with whom she had spent a fair amount of time while traveling with the Nightwings. Under these new set of circumstances, it turned out that the two had more to talk about and rather more in common. They would often put to test which one was able to outdrink the other. It is unclear as to which one of them prevailed in that contest in the end. One day, Pamatha received an invitation to return to the Highwing remnants, where she was to be fully pardoned. She held out a hope that she might see her blood sister Tamatha there, knowing full well that Tamatha did not regain her freedom. Tamatha did later learn that Pamatha was welcomed back by her people. However, she never responded to her blood sister's attempts to contact her. Pamatha in turn did not expect forgiveness from her at any point. Nonetheless, she kept on trying to reach out, she said, to ruffle up her feathers just a bit. Later, when asked, Pamatha Thane admitted she felt as though she had no home to call her own. This was during an interview conducted amid an extensive trip abroad, for she had travelled thousands of leagues beyond the bounds of the Saurian Union. Pamatha continued to journey thus, citing that it reminded her of when she was younger and could fly unfettered. And lastly, our muses. After the cycle of the rites ceased turning, the lone minstrel bade the remaining Nightwings take the Black Wagon and seek their fortunes elsewhere in the downside. Their parting was heartfelt, but brief. He remained there at the summit of Mount Isladel with Celeste, where the two of them would chronicle the final outcome of the cycle. Neither Tariq nor Celeste were ever seen again. We know all this now through song attributed to them. Some claim these songs originated in the taverns of the Sarian Union and merely were imbued with the weight of folklore. However, exiles liberated from the downside corroborated each other's claims, and having met this duo that presided over the liberation. Another folktale suggests that these minstrels were heralds of the scribes. Having fulfilled their obligations, they departed the world we know and rejoined their patrons. Hold on, let me pause this freaking ad break. I couldn't. Well, it's ad time, so I'm gonna sit here and just watch the music for 3 minutes. Sorry. If anyone's still lurking in chat, what are your thoughts? Did you enjoy this game so far? Or rather, did you enjoy this game? Did you enjoy these streams? I think this might have been like the most narratively deep game we've played on stream thus far. I mean, Bastion and Transistor, they were pretty deep, but this has so many more interconnecting relationships and, you know, so many more character driven dialogues in this game. I've really enjoyed this playthrough. We'll watch the other two endings as well on YouTube once I wrap up this playthrough and bring it to the finale. The music in this game has been beautiful. I love the like Exiles theme when they sing during like the final liberation rite. I love that song. It's beautiful. Darren Korb, the composer and singer-songwriter, he's a genius. He's an absolute genius. And his music's beautiful. Then it says it has pretty good music and the story is super good. There aren't many games that maintain like a melancholy tone throughout, but this one really nails it. Despite not enjoying the quote unquote combat mechanics of this game, I've really enjoyed this game. Welcome back everyone who was trapped in ad limbo. Don't worry, I stopped doing my my read-through playthrough till he returned. I did ask for those that were trapped in ad limbo what everyone thought of this game thus far, if anyone's still lurking around and listening to me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it too. I don't think Brian's with us anymore, which is unfortunate because we're now here at the end. One of their famous songs describes another, simpler outcome, that the two gave up their duties to the rights in favor of a life that they could share together. Aww. In any case, they are likely to remain the subject of such verses and such songs, for it was they who watched over the rights and ushered in our times. There is one more account which warrants mention. The Nightwings conducted the rites under the guidance of a reader. Little is known of him. However, some accounts of him begin to paint a picture. We know he was of common birth, always directionless and prone to misremembering at times. The journey to the downside left him close to death. It was then that the Nightwings found him. They brought him from the brink. He showed them the path. He pressed onward with the others. He did not know how far their path would lead. Thus did the cycle of the rites commence its final turn. When the final rite arrived, the reader's freedom was at stake. That freedom he indeed achieved ere the morning's light. From that point on, accounts of him diverged. It is said that the voice which troubled him he never heard again. Some say he helped to form our Sarian Union, although whether that is true, only he knows. Someday, perhaps, that reader's own star shall emerge. Then it shall pierce the dark of night in all its brilliant glory. Until such time and ever after, all of us give thanks.
Their journey began on a barren waste where the reader arrived.
And so ends our playthrough of Pyre.
When he arrived, the book of rites awakened the night wings and ignited the flame. They follow the stars bound together, strands in our brain till the end. We sing of the last of the night wings who, having broken the cycle, shall live on in song. Headwind prevailed and strode the path that his heart laid before him. He has found his way home.
So this song changes based on who manages to achieve liberation as well.
Joe Dariel,
One of the 200 million possible permutations of ending.
she has found her way home.
But there are three main endings of how the revolution occurs.
Rookie Greentail has proved his worth and returned to his family by the grace of the scribes. They follow the stars bound together, strands in a braid till the end. The moon-touched girl hears the
Yeesh.
scribes in the world all around her. They have guided her home.
Tease all the wise, ever faithful to the cause of the night wings. He remained to the end.
Folks, I just want to say I really appreciate you sticking it out through this game. There's a lot of people here that came back to every single stream. I appreciate all of you for that.
He has found his way home.
It's been great to experience this story with all of you, your company throughout this, and your chats, your thoughts, and have been great.
Having pleased the scribes, seeking only forgiveness, she has found her way home. They follow the stars bound together, strands in a
Oh, Darren Korb voiced the minstrel and Rookie. Neat. Oh, he voiced Mild here. Well. Finland, you're right. That guy does have too many talents.
Wolfred Sandalwood saw his plans turn to action. He remained till the end. The bog dweller Gertrude kept their foes at bay with her finest enchantments. She remained till the end.
The reader at last made the night wings whole and ascended to freedom. He has found his way home.
Goodness is telling you, some people just hogging it all. And alright. What a great game.
As we bid farewell and return to the stars, we shall find our way home.
Man, Supergiant Games, that company they're special. They're something else. Like every game they've pushed out, even Pyre with its kind of weak gameplay mechanics. There's so much to make up for that in the game. Everything they've made has been really fucking good. I've been playing games for a long, long fucking time. And I consider myself very lucky to be able to play games made by these people, to live in an age where these games are available. Do I get to click on something? Running here. I'm just looking at the Commonwealth. I see. We're back in the Commonwealth now, and there's literacy and books for all. The end. Okay, well, let's go look at what the other endings look like. Three hours, fuck that. This is the wrong video. I want all the rights. I just want the endings. Damn it. I googled Pyre endings and my own YouTube channel came up as like the 6th result down. No, that's not what I need. I guess we're not watching the innings after all. All right, chat. What do you want to do now? The choices are I can start playing Hades. I can do some art and adjust the Hades poster to say daddies, which is going to be amusing. I can continue to play Cyberpunk. I can continue to play Baldur's Gate. I can continue to play Near Automata. What would you like to see? I'm easy on whichever, and I'm also getting a little drunk. So choose your destiny. All right, I threw up a poll for you guys. There's Baldur's Gate, Cyberdad, Near Automadad. Shit, that's wrong. That's meant to say Near Autodada. Autodada. Or Daddies. Hades. I'm going to vote for Cyberdad myself. Ooh, one for Baldur's Gate as well. Okay. Might just be you and me in here, Cinderland. Everyone else might be lurking or sleeping. Fuck, what's the fucking command? God damn it. Hold on. Test stream element to find out what the hell my command is. I know there is a coin toss command. Just don't remember what the hell it is. Coin flip. I see. Heads for Baldur's Gate. Tails for Cyberdad. Cyberdad it is. Okay. But for tonight, I think we'll call it there. Yeah. I don't want to kind of go from an ending into another game. I'm really happy with how Pyre turned out. I like the themes that it kind of looks into. That revolution is kind of something to be expected and just part of part of the passing of time, that it should be expected. I love the interpersonal relationships in that game. I always love the art style of Supergiant games, and the music was top notch. In fact, let's grab some music from it. While I find someone to raid. Enjoy Never to Return by Darren Cole and Ashley Barrett. is easily my favorite song from the game. It's beautiful. Yeah, some lyrics. This is my favorite song from the game. It's beautiful. Who shall rise again? All of the songs transcribed, composed by Darren Korb, are fucking bangers. Like, he hasn't had a bad song in any of the games. Folks, I'm thinking of raiding Ultrasaurus, who is playing Farming Simulator 2025, unless anyone wants to redeem a guide the raid. Captain Fluffy Bubbles. Okay.
Captain underscore Fluffy underscore Bubbles.
Is our raid message then? Dad just completed Pyre, and now he is liberating us to you. Thank you, everyone, sincerely, for joining me in completing this game. This was the first time I ever played Pyre. I've really enjoyed voicing all of these characters for you, with you. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves in this stream, in these streams. Senlin, thank you for the bits and your giant emote. It was a lot of work to voice all those characters. It took a lot out of me, but it expanded my creative skills massively. I had a great time. I hope you guys did too. We are going to go raid Captain Fluffy Bubbles. He's a Marine veteran, and it is the birthday of the birth date of the founding of the Marines, apparently. Freedom in the flame, the end has just begun. Alright folks, there's 3 seconds of the raid. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Goodbye.